This is a message for Hank Green. Can I send you the puff guard on my microphone? Because I really would love to see what that looks like under a microscope. You have that fancy microscope camera thing. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what kind of ecosystem I've created with my mouth. What's up, everyone? My name is Alex, and welcome to my little corner of the internet, part of this debunking identity series thing that I'm doing on Mondays. I want to debunk the demiboy identity. I want to talk about myths and misconceptions and assumptions and all that fun stuff. I think the most common misconception, I really want to get this one out of the way because it drives me up a wall. Demiboys are only AFAB that is assigned female at birth. I don't know where this came from. I saw it crop up in my Discord server, and I've seen it crop up in the comments of my YouTube videos, and it confuses me because I cannot find any source on people saying that you have to be AFAB to be a demiboy. I don't understand that at all. That is... No identity really is based on your assigned gender at birth. But that one's a little weird. But no, you do not have to be any sort of assigned gender at birth to be a demiboy. If you're part male, that's it. That's the requirement. Demiboy is part male, part agender. It's the most common type of experience for demiboys. When I was researching the identity, I thought oh, okay, this says that usually it's part male, part genderless, so I guess I have to consider that other part to be genderless. I guess I have to find some way to fit into that, but that is not the case. It can be part male and part really anything else, including a similar identity. It can be part male and part proxphere. It can be anything. It depends on the person. It depends on what they feel their experience with being part male is. And on that note, demiboy is a certain percentage of male. That is not true. You don't need to be 50% male. You don't need to be 75% male. You could be mostly male. You can be 99% male and still call yourself a demiboy. And on that note, if you're 50% male and 50%, I don't know, agender, we'll bring that example back up. You can choose to call yourself demi-agender. You can call yourself demiboy. It depends on, I guess, what you take priority in for that identity. So, if malehood is the more important part of a 50-50 split between two partial identities, then call yourself demiboy. But if the agender part's more important to you, demi-genderless or demi-agender, depends on how you want to describe that identity for yourself. Demiboy is a static identity, meaning non-fluid. You can be fluid between the two parts of your identity. You can have fluctuations between how much gender you feel. You can fluctuate between feeling nothing at all and feeling mostly male or completely male. That depends on how people want to quantify their identity and their gender experience. So it's kind of up to you how you use language to describe your gender experience. There's no rules really to being a demiboy. That's important, of course. Masculinity should be soft, as in not super masculine, kind of neutral to masculine, that little area. But nope, you can be hyper masculine, you can be feminine, you can be completely in the middle, neutral. You can be something outside of that. You can be androgynous. It depends on what is comfortable for you. Your gender presentation has nothing to do with your gender. You can use gender presentation to reflect your gender and kind of match your gender. These pronouns feel like this gender that I experience, so I'm going to use them. But you don't have to present a certain way. And on that note, you don't need to use specific pronouns. He, they pronouns are common for demiboys, at least from what I've seen, but that does not mean that those are the demiboy pronouns. You do not have to use he, they pronouns exclusively for the demiboy identity. You can use any number of pronouns. You can exclusively use he, him. You can exclusively use they, them. You could use she, her. You could use anything outside of that, neopronouns, a combination of pronouns. You can switch between pronouns as much as you want. You do not have to match your gender with a specific set of pronouns, and your pronouns do not have to match the two parts of the identity. So you don't have to match demiboy and or part male and part something else. You don't have to match those two parts in order to, I guess, fit the label or qualify for the label. That is not a thing. Gendered terms have to be a certain way, masculine or neutral or in that general area. You can call yourself a man, you can call yourself a person, you can do away with any gendered terminology, you can refer to yourself as anything at all. You do not have to specifically refer to yourself as male or a man or a boy, and you don't have to keep things completely neutral. You can do anything you want with it. It can change day to day, hour to hour, or you can have just a set way that you prefer to be referred to. And all of that is valid. That's your decision. You have to consider yourself to be trans masculine, but not trans male. I don't know how common this misconception is, but you can call yourself a transgender male. You can decide that you don't want to be called a transgender male. You can go with trans masculine. You can also go with trans feminine or trans neutral. It just means you're transitioning in a feminine or neutral way, respectively. You can use whatever language to describe that sort of identity, that sort of transitioning. You don't have to be trans-masc to be a demi-boy. I do away with that kind of language, at least describing myself. I technically fit every single descriptor. I technically fit all the prerequisites to being transmasculine. I technically fit the definition in every single way, but I do not consider myself transmasculine, and I prefer not to be called transmasculine, but I do fit into the transmasc community. I'm even in a transmasc Discord server, but being a demi-boy doesn't mean you have to be transmasculine. And on that note, transitioning has to be a certain way in the masculine to neutral range. No, you don't. You don't have to transition at all. First of all, you don't have to undergo any kind of transitioning in order to fit a gender, or to match your gender. You don't have to do that. And you don't have to transition masculinely in order to be a demi-boy, and you don't have to keep a certain percentage of masculinity. You don't have to be like, okay, I'm going to be kind of masc, but not really, because I'm kind of male, but not really. You don't have to do that. That is actually it. I thought I had more, but I'm trying to figure out a way to make these videos a little bit shorter, and I want this video to be shareable. I want someone to be able to use this video to be like, hey, but look at this person describing their identity, and like, look at the things that they're debunking, the misconceptions they're clearing up. Like, this is important. Like, check this video out. I want this to be a source of validation as well. Like, you can watch this and think like, oh, so it's not just me. Like, everyone, a lot of people experience this kind of thing. A lot of people experience assumptions and myths and misconceptions and all these other things. I call those microaggressions. And that's, you kind of have to accept that. Like, microaggression also includes making assumptions about someone's identity. Microaggressions don't have to literally be aggressive. That's why they're called microaggressions. So if you're making assumptions about someone's identity instead of learning, I suggest don't do that. I suggest use these videos to get a better understanding of someone's identity and what they experience, because it's not always what you think. It's not always what you assume to be like their narrative, their experience. So there we go. I hope everyone's doing well. This series, it's going to be a short series, but I think it might be fun to do something a little bit new while I kind of get used to recording regularly again. So, yeah, I hope you find value, and I hope you find value in the series that I post on Mondays, and I hope that like you can use it to inform someone who might not understand these types of identities. Anyway, I am signing off for now. See you later.